Assalamu alaikum. This is Nabazir, and I'm going to talk about a very important theme in postcolonial literature, which is identity crisis. An identity crisis simply means a situation where a person feels confused about who they really are, where they belong, and what shapes their sense of self. In postcolonial context, this confusion becomes much deeper because it is strongly connected to the experience of colonialism. Colonialism was not only about controlling land and resources, it was also about controlling culture, language, education, and even the way people thought. Because of this, colonized societies often experience long lasting psychological and cultural damage. One of the main reasons post colonial identity crisis happens is because colonial powers made native cultures appear inferior. Many people were taught directly or indirectly that their traditions, their language, and values were backward, while Western culture was presented as modern, powerful, and superior. This created a sense of inferiority complex and a serious internal conflict because people started feeling caught between two different worlds, their original culture and the imposed colonial culture. A major characteristic of this crisis is cultural dislocation, which means the feeling of being disconnected from one's roots. Even if someone lives in their own homeland, they may still feel like they don't truly belong because their cultural identity has been disturbed or replaced. Second, and another important factor is the imposition of language and values. In many colonized nations, English became the language of education, status, and authority, while local languages were pushed into the background. Since language is deeply linked with identity, this often caused people to feel divided within themselves. This identity struggle is also explained through the concept of mimicry and hybridity, discussed by the theorist Homi K. Bhabha. He says that colonized people often imitate the colonizer's lifestyle, their language, and behavior in order to survive or gain social acceptance, but they're never fully accepted. Similarly, Frantz Fanon in The Wretched of the Earth explains how colonialism creates psychological pressure. He argues that the colonial person often feels trapped. They want to remain themselves, but at the same time, they feel forced to become like the colonizer. Another key thinker is Edward Said, who introduced the concept of Orientalism. He explains that the West often described Eastern societies as strange, weak, or inferior. Over time, these stereotypes shape global perception and even influence how colonized people view their own identity. Because of these reasons, postcolonial literature frequently focuses on themes like alienation, displacement, migration, loss of belonging, and the search for self. To conclude, post-colonial identity crisis is not just an individual problem. It is a collective experience caused by colonial domination, cultural conflict, and the long-term effects of imposed values. It shows how identity is not always stable. It is constantly questioned, challenged, and reconstructed.